use stealth instead of using really clever plant tactics. And sort of everyone can have their own sort of approach and play style to the game. So from this, we're going to be going to a production version that will look like those nice screenshots beforehand and will be a little bit less blocky.
All I need to do is get through this hood and
It'll look like this.
Yeah, it'll look like that. But we've still got a good year or so ahead of us. But that gives you an idea of what it's like. We have a development blog that you can get from spookysquid.com that has videos, has concept art, just general discussion of like how we're dealing with the AI, all sorts of interesting little things like that. And that's pretty much our presentation.
I'm just going to start with the first one. When we started talking before you did your demo, you were saying that every time you think of something new, you put it in, and then it changes everything, you have to rework everything all over again. How do you know when a game is done? Because I know like, you could probably work on this forever, keep adding features. When do you finally pull yourself away from it and say, all right, I want some money for this?
Well, we just did a grant proposal, so we sort of had to figure that out ahead of time. And so we kind of looked at naturally where, at what point we could get, like how much time we had, how much time it would take to get the rest of the plants we wanted into the game, and sort of figured out what felt like. It's like when you get down to it, it's an instinct thing to some extent, and then just practicality, knowing that at some point it has to be done. Like you could, with any game, work on it infinitely, adding more and more features. That's how you get something like Dwarf Fortress. Yeah.
It's going to end up like a Stanley Kubrick film going on for 8 years before it shows up.
Yeah, it's entirely easy to just completely continue. But we've sort of gone like, okay, this is sort of where it'll stop, and the rest can be in a sequel.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, does anyone have any questions? You can just step up to the mic. We have time for a couple of them. Okay. Cool.
I got one. How much do you think you're going to charge for us for this game when it comes out?
We don't know yet for sure. It depends. We're still talking to distributors and such, so it depends to some extent on what prices they'll let us charge. But it'll be reasonable. We'll look at sort of what other things are going for at the time. Like with the downloadable market, it seems to be changing from like year to year what the prices are. But it'll be something reasonable.
Do you think, actually, I'm just going to ask another quick question. So there have been a couple of articles about the iPhone App Store and just how it's been a race to the bottom. Prices keep going lower for the games. I mean, are you feeling that, you know, now the work isn't being equated enough with the money? Like, are consumers just not willing to pay enough when, I mean, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this and a lot of clever stuff.
We're actually not aiming for the iPhone app.
Yeah, that's smart. Like, I have a game that I'd love to do for the iPhone, but I look at that market right now, and like, for something that could take months to work on, to be charging $1 for it, while it's great for consumers, it also, I think in the long run, is bad for them because you just can't develop anything with a lot of depth to it. Like, it's good for doing some very small games, but I don't think you can make a larger game with like a long story or anything like that. And sell it for $1.
It would be different if you could sell 10 million copies. No, seriously, I mean, 10 million copies at like a penny a game? Sure, okay.
If the market gets big enough, it's true. But generally with indie stuff, you are talking about niche audience. You don't have the marketing power to pull those sorts of numbers. So yeah, I think it is unfortunate that it's gotten quite that cheap.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, tricky problem. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It looks amazing. It was so much fun. And we look forward to seeing more stuff from it.
Excellent.
Cool. All right.